Thanks for being here with us today. Can you tell us your name and how you are involved with the film community in Oklahoma?
Yeah, my name's Dalton Stuart. I have been a film critic here in Oklahoma City for 13 years, in addition to my day job. I do that. I also host a live movie interruption show. It's equal parts commentary and comedy called Down in Front. What else do I do? I've hosted some Q&As and panels at Dead Center. Love movies, love talking about them, love watching them.
Awesome. You also graciously host a lot of screenings in the Discord chat.
I do. I love to host a Discord screening. I think it's a fun way to watch a movie.
You are the king of exposing the people to film. I really appreciate that about you.
I love to share it.
What is the Oklahoma Film Exchange and how did it all start?
Yeah, so the group that would become the Film Exchange, or could become Oklahoma Film Exchange, started probably January of this year, December of last year, somewhere in there. Basically, things were not working out at Rodeo for a lot of the folks that were running ops there. And I, was either already friends with some of them or had become friendly with some of them. Really, one of the key figures was Justin Jane. He was making sure, he and I talked a lot as I was doing Down in Front, because he was the social media manager at Rodeo when I was doing Down in Front. So he and I had gotten to be pretty good friends, and we knew we wanted to sort of do something different. We respected and liked what Rodeo was doing, but we knew there was a need for something else. And so we started talking about trying to get all of these different screening groups that some of us were involved in together under one umbrella, and basically starting our own art house and just trying to do pop-up screenings, really inspired by micro cinemas like Hyperreal out of Austin. And they had a pop-up screening startup model too. They just generated interest in the community, and eventually, bought an old strip club and turned it into a movie theater, after, years of just getting involved in the community and raising interest and awareness and money. So we thought that's what we were going to be doing for a while. And then we found out that Rodeo wasn't going to be able to keep taking care of the Film Row screening room. There's been this question mark hanging over it this year, just because they haven't really had the staff to program or run it, as far as I know. Just from the conversations I've had, it just sounded like they had struggled for a while to figure out what to do with the space. And so they hadn't really been using it, and we found out that when they weren't going to be able to renew the lease, that the building owners aren't really interested in keeping it a screening room. So with Rodeo's lease ending on August 31st of this year, the building is requiring them to remove everything that makes it a movie theater. Chairs, sound dampening curtains, the screen, the projector, it's all got to go. So when we found out about that, we were like, oh, wow, okay, well, somebody should do something. And we had talked about, when Rodeo wasn't using the space, there had been this question of maybe we try to take the lease over from them, and we didn't really have the finances in line yet. We hadn't really quite figured out what we were yet, so that didn't really feel like an option for us earlier in the year. And then we found out what the ultimate fate of the screening room would be if we didn't do something. So we just kind of sprang into action, realized we had about a month to organize a fundraising campaign. We found out what it would take financially to take over the space from Rodeo, from the building owners. And then we just got to work, trying to put together this fundraising campaign and trying to put a month of programming together. We reached out to Rodeo and kind of told them what our plans were. And Alex Picard over there has been a huge help to us as far as just letting us sort of run the space as we want to run it for the month that we have it. It is still their room until the end of August. And so they are just letting us take over and sort of show the community what our vision for the space is, until hopefully we raise the money to fully officially take over it. Yeah.
That's
a long answer, but yeah,
thank
that's
you.
sort of
It's
where
really,
we're at.
It's really helpful to understand the situation in some detail. And I think next, let's talk about the why. So let's talk about the Paramount building. Can you tell us what makes it so special and why it's so crucial to save this place in particular on Film Row?
Yeah. So without this building, Film Row is just a name. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. This is one of the 37, or I always get this number wrong. It's either 37 or 38. You'll have to forgive me. But one of the original film exchanges that was built in the United States in the early days of the cinema industry. Before we were really thinking about movies as an art form, they were just a new novel entertainment, and things didn't open, in the same way they do now, where, August 15th, we were all going to see the same thing all across the country. It wasn't like that. That's fairly recent. That doesn't come about until the 1970s. In the teens and 20s, these film reels would show in Chicago and LA and New York, and then they would kind of just start being shipped by rail across the country. You couldn't fly film, it was too dangerous. And then the exchanges, speaking to that point of film being dangerous, had to be built with very specific specifications, with bank level vaults to store the film, because the nitrate film in those early days was extremely flammable. And if you had a bunch of it together, it would of course be a huge explosion. So this very building we're in has a huge vault underneath it. And the projector booth up there has an escape hatch for when they used to run films in here and it was dangerous to do so. There's an escape hatch in the projection room in case, from back in the day, in case a fire were to break out during a screening. As far as we know, this is not only the last active screening room in a film exchange, it's the last film exchange that's standing. But yeah, this building in particular is, the beginning of the film industry in Oklahoma. Oklahoma has been trying for decades now to be taken more seriously on the national stage as a place for film. And I think a great way to do that is to preserve the legacy we already have.
I've asked tonight for everyone to tell me about vision and kind of what crazy ideas you might have in the long-term success, assuming that you achieve the mission and the campaign is successful and you're able to save the Paramount Room and Film Row. What do you see for this space in this building?
That's a really good question. I know we want to do more live performances here. I know I've heard some of the interviews you guys have done, and I know a lot of our team has talked about that, and that is really important to us. We've got this great stage in here in front of the screen, and I've been part of and been in attendance at so many cool live shows in this, live performances in this space, whether that's drag or comedy. Drag is often comedy, but we can find the interplay between those two things in this space, I think, and have a lot of fun with that. I think we can have dance nights, we can have DJs. If we make some minor sound improvements, I think we could have full bands. Right now it's more set up for acoustic sets, but I think we could figure something out eventually. Again, it really is. It's got kind of this pit we're sitting in right now below the main auditorium chairs. It kind of gives us some modularity to the space where we have these big plush armchairs, and we love these chairs. We're thinking about keeping them for a while and maybe upgrading them and doing something similar to what already is. We've also talked about getting some church pews in here for church of cinema, but also because that's a good seating solve. That's, again, allows us to take them in and out of the space, but seat a few more people in the pit. But then, look, I can't pretend I don't want to see a punk show in here, right? This is this little.
I knew it. Admit it.
This little spot right here is, it would sound terrible, but sometimes that's the point.
That's punk, baby.
Exactly. I know my lawyer is going to want me to make people sign waivers on that. I can tell you that much.
You're going to want that as well.
Yeah,
after
she's taking care of us for sure.
Awesome.
But yeah, I envision a lot of cool stuff being possible in this room if we're able to hold on to it.
So if people want to get involved, and maybe they want to get involved with the Oklahoma Film Exchange, maybe they want to donate fiscally, maybe they want to donate time, maybe they just want to learn more about it and spread word of mouth. How can people learn more about the Oklahoma Film Exchange, and how can people get involved with saving the Paramount Room here at Film Row?
Well, you can go to oklahomafilmexchange.com. We've got a good website right now that, kind of shows you who's working on it and how we're organized. Or savefilmrow.com. Both will get you where you need to go. There's a big donate on Indiegogo button right there on the homepage. So yeah, go to savefilmrow.com and you'll find how to contribute financially pretty easily. You can also email us, oklahomafilmexchange@gmail.com. If you've got some thoughts for us, hit us up. Yeah, that's the main ways. Oh, at Oklahoma Film Exchange on all the socials. We're very active on that stuff. Our social media monster Cam is, well, without peer.
Cam is cracking me up.
God level.
Yeah, Cam has got me rolling.
I knew they were the perfect person for the job, and they're doing so good. We would not be where we are at without. I mean, this whole team's incredible. I feel so fortunate to have been part of this group that came together, and it's just a really cool group of people. It only works because everybody's doing their jobs that they're good at. I've fully lost what the original question was. I'm just talking about my team.
I know. I distracted you.
Again, if you want to learn more about that incredible team I was talking about, go to oklahomafilmexchange.com. And again, email us at the Gmail. Sayafilmrow.com. We'll get you to those financial links. And again, just spread the word. Make sure people are aware of what we're doing any way you can. Every bit helps. It really does.
Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Holly.
Dalton Stuart, really proud of you all.